Thank you, Dr. Oku, and thank you, the organizers. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
In my presentation today is co-management a panacea for environmental pressures. I'm going to talk about environmental pressures, similar to my other presenters. I will also look at the lessons learned from this co-management process, and we'll also make some suggestions and some tips for MSP considerations with regard to co-management. Next slide, please. So let's take some time to understand co-management. Of course, there are several definitions, but this is the one I chose here: the sharing of power and responsibility between governments and local resource users. This is by Bugs and others. The key ones here are power, responsibility, and a shared resource. In most of the time, governments want to share a lot of responsibility, but they don't really want to share the power in practice. I also note that this definition fits well with the modern resource governance systems, where resources are considered open, contrary to closed traditional systems. In this context, in the Kenyan context, for example, and with regard to the fisheries law and the Kenya forest law, we are talking about devolved resource management systems, institutions. These are the beach management units for the fisheries and the CFAs for the forest part. So this is the context of co-management that I'm talking about here. Next, please. So I'm going to give a case example of Shimoni Vanga Seascape. This is a project that is ongoing now. You can see the map there, the insert map, the insert Kenyan map. You can see it's a transboundary area. It's between Kenya and Tanzania. You can see the biodiversity is there, and there's more descriptions in the next slides. Next. So the Shimoni Vanga Seascape, it represents the co-management area, which is the Shimoni Vanga co-management area, covering a coastline of about 60 kilometers, including Wasin Island. I would say it's a biodiversity hotspot, and most of the presenters will agree with me here that the highest coral diversity is actually found in southern coast of Kenya. And this is where we have the famous Kisito Mpunguti Marine Park and Reserve. There are currently a total of 13 community groups working with key government agencies and other stakeholders to implement projects. These projects are quite varied. They range from conservation of coral reefs, seagrass, mangroves, and the entire ecosystem, ecotourism, value addition, and most importantly, is an element of the maritime security, which is monitoring, control, and surveillance. There is an MCS team which is comprised of the community groups. These are the beach management units. They do patrols every now and then with key government security agencies. A seascape-wide multi-stakeholder forum meets every quarter. to discuss matters arising within the seascape. I also note that new and existing activities in the area are guided by, among others, a joint co-management plan and the seascape strategy, which are developed through a consultant effort between the government of Kenya and the GFSDP project. Where Comrade is a strategic partner. When I'm talking about strategic documents, I'm also referring to other government documents, the Vision 2030, the other government plans, CRDPs, for example. This is Kobe County. So they are quite similar, and they are complementary to each other. And next, please. Environmental pressures. These are very specific to the area. We've heard about these pressures, I think, several times. It's just now become a song. There's the issue of IUU within the area, which is a threat to sustainability of fisheries. When we talk about IUU, most people, or most of us, think about the high seas. But we also have IUUs within the inshore waters, where we have the small-scale fisheries being concentrated. IUU fishing is illegal fishing, and it's an illegality, it's a crime. And when people are doing illegal fishing, they also do other sorts of illegal activities, such as trafficking of people, drugs, and everything. So this being a transboundary area is a sensitive area. We have seen fishermen without citizenship. They are stateless fishers within the area. These are the fishers living in Kenya. They don't have Kenyan papers. They don't have Tanzanian papers for some reasons, which means that they cannot engage formally in their daily activities. They cannot do formal business. But I would like to say that this issue is being addressed and it has been brought to the attention of the authorities. Sedimentation from two main rivers is River Umba and Ramisi. River Umba has its catchment from Tanzania. There is an issue of pollution of plastic and other buoyant material. And of course, there's climate change, coastal erosion, and sea level rise. Bleaching still there, and there was some bleaching event in March this year. There's oil and gas exploration within the area. There's some designated oil blocks there, which may have a negative impact on the environment. Let's move to the next slide, please. So what are the lessons? If I look at our journey through, in terms of enforcement, for example, maritime security, I would say that social networks and personal relations make it difficult for communities to enforce their own bylaws. Thus, a second independency of enforcement not associated with these social circles is necessary. As much as we are setting up our trying to enhance maritime security and empowering the communities, sometimes it's a bit tricky for them to do it on their own without a second tier. Next, please. Community level monitoring is important for alerting stakeholders on pertinent changes to the resource as soon as they occur. We all agree that the communities are always there with the resource. They interact with them every day and they detect changes immediately. And you should make use of that. Next, please. A multi-sectoral forum for discussing and addressing issues as they arise is important. This can be scaled up to different levels, e.g. MSP level. Cross-border challenges are best addressed by concerned countries in a roundtable. This is where transboundary issues are involved. Communities need a long-term empowerment with a trusted partner in tackling environmental challenges. This is also related to the number 6. It takes time and heavy investment to build requisite capacity of communities in co-management. Most of us go to school for almost entire half or even more half of our life, and then we expect communities to train them for 1 week and do something. I think this is a misconception, and it's a mistake that most people are doing. Although you want to train the communities to do some basic things, they need mentorship, and you need to work with them step by step until they get into a level where they can work on their own. But then you've seen this is not possible because sometimes projects come for a year or 2 years, and then they ask you what will be your sustainability issues plan, and then maybe you don't have a sustainability plan. And by the time another project comes, things fall apart. So there is need to invest in the community long term in terms of finances and capacity. Next, please. The different stakeholders in the area and their interests. I think this is one of the key elements you do considerations for the MSP. You have to map the stakeholders. Who are they? What are they doing? What is their interest? We need to recognize the traditional forms of resource management and how they fit in within the larger MSP framework, e.g. LMMAs or CCAs, co-management areas, or any other forms of conservation areas. Special allocation of fishing areas alongside other activities is needed to dispel the fear that MSP will mask small-scale fisheries. So it is important that SSF, or small-scale fisheries, is well represented and marked for the fishermen to be assured of their livelihood. Next, please. Land sea nexus is necessary to capture upstream activities as well as coastal cities. When we are doing MSP plans, where does the border stop? Do we stop at the mangroves, for example? Do we stop at the coastline? Do we stop at the beach? I would say no. We need to go up high in the mountains and follow those upstream activities because they have an impact on the sea as well as the coastal cities. There is need for bilateral arrangement across borders to accommodate mutual interest. Next, please. That's the end of my presentation. We can have further discussion on that email, and you can have more information on the website. Thank you very much.